HighBridge, a division of Recorded Books, presents The Immunity Solution, 7 Weeks to Living Healthier and Longer, by Leo Nissola, MD. Read by Leo Nissola, MD. To all survivors, to Ivo and Anna, who dared me to be and become despite all adversities. For Ben, whose love and support enabled my research, my long working hours, and the publication of this book. For Sandra and Brian, whose resiliency inspires me every day. For Padmani and James, whose scientific breakthroughs altered the course of human history. To the light that enables our shared existence and the love that binds us all together in life. Introduction. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Aristotle. Cancer kills millions of people every year. It has taken loved ones from me, as with you and so many others. This biological bully, the emperor of all maladies, as Siddhartha Mukherjee beautifully describes it, reigns as a master of surprises, hitting when and whom we least expect. By design, your immune system fights abnormal cells and prevents cancer, among other diseases. But over the course of your lifetime, it easily can sustain damage. Impairments can leave it struggling to fight diseases and leave you prone to illnesses. Today, roughly 17 million people in America alone are living with cancer. Another 10 million Americans have compromised defenses, and at least 3.5 million suffer from an autoimmune disease. For some illnesses, the exact cause still remains unclear. We know that for rheumatoid arthritis, RA, for example, the underlying mechanism involves the immune system attacking the joints. RA affects about 25 million people worldwide, but hard science about the disease's ultimate origins remains unknown. When I was born in Brazil, President João Figueiredo ruled the country, the last in a series of dictators who came to power after a military coup roughly 2 decades earlier. In 1982, the year I was born, Swedish biochemists Sune Bergström and Bengt Samuelsson and British pharmacologist John Vane received the Nobel Prize in Medicine for their discovery of prostaglandins, a compound involved in inflammation reactions in the human body. Their research led to a new category of drugs that inhibit an enzyme called COX, which comes in 2 forms. The first affects the stomach lining specifically, and the second affects inflammation in general. Drug makers call this new group of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs NSAIDs. But the relief from inflammation and pain that NSAIDs afford comes at a high cost. Long-term use of NSAIDs can lead to gastric erosion, ulcers, and severe bleeding. So, drug developers wanting to target just inflammation develop an NSAID called rofecoxib, which Merck sold as Vioxx. After regulatory approval, more than 80 million people took Vioxx. A progressive disease, rheumatoid arthritis, can lead to constant pain and swollen joints all over the body. It develops in phases, beginning with non-specific inflammation, followed by chronic inflammation, and then tissue damage, in many cases severe. A few years after her RA symptoms started, my grandmother Maria's condition worsened quickly. She suffered terrible pain in her hands, wrists, and knees. The agony affected her mobility and led to hip and other joint replacement surgeries. In southern Brazil, where she lived, she didn't have access to a wide variety of frontline treatments. Apart from replacing the damaged joints, all her doctors could do was prescribe anti-inflammatories, including Vioxx. Subsequent Food and Drug Administration (FDA) studies determined that taking rofecoxib led to an increased risk of death from heart attacks, stroke, and gastrointestinal bleeding. Before the manufacturers voluntarily took Vioxx off the market, it is estimated to have killed hundreds of thousands of people worldwide, including my grandmother. Once touted as a wonder drug, Vioxx became an abject failure of America's drug approval and oversight system. My grandmother's painful early death sparked my professional interest in immunology, autoimmunity, and drug development. My commitment to her legacy has pushed me to find safe ways to help heal people. I have dedicated my professional life to treating cancer and spearheading educational efforts about the importance of a healthy immune system because the best way to cure cancer is to prevent it from occurring in the first place. A decade ago, I began my research in autoimmunity, focusing on systemic lupus. Later, I served as the lead physician for multi-billion-dollar drug assets at Johnson & Johnson, as well as other top biotechnology and pharmaceutical companies. Working at the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center, I met James Allison, PhD, who received the Nobel Prize in Medicine for his discoveries of negative immune regulations that led to new immunotherapy drugs to fight cancer. At the Parker Institute for Cancer Immunotherapy, I served as lead scientist for several early-phase clinical studies for patients with hard-to-treat advanced cancers. My life's work has required many sacrifices and difficult decisions. When my grandmother Maria died, I couldn't attend her funeral because I was taking my anatomy finals in medical school. When my other grandmother Teresa passed away, I was helping cancer patients at MD Anderson and couldn't travel to be with her in her final moments. When metastatic pancreatic cancer took my uncle João, I was conducting trials for cancer patients at the Parker Institute during the darkest hours of the COVID-19 pandemic, when travel restrictions prevented me from saying goodbye in person. That's the price that other researchers and I pay for the work that we do and our commitment to give people a little more time to live their best lives and make beautiful memories. We don't want anyone to have to say goodbye sooner than necessary. Becoming an immunologist has felt not so much like a personal choice, but like a critical mission to understand the complex interactions between our bodies and the external world. In a twist of fate, at the same time that I was leading immunotherapy clinical trials, I diagnosed my own father with a rare immune system cancer. Always in great health, he barely broke a sweat even when working hard. Then, out of the blue, in December 2020, he started having night sweats. He felt unusually fatigued. A few weeks later, just before Christmas, he video chatted me to say hello. He sounded tired, and he looked skinnier than usual. I asked if he felt or noticed anything different recently. His descriptions of how he felt immediately sounded like B symptoms. In oncology, B symptoms indicate more advanced symptoms of cancer, which signify that the disease is systemic, spread throughout the body, and not localized in one specific area. Fevers, drenching night sweats, and an unintentional loss of more than 10% of body weight over 6 months all fall into this symptom category. With B symptoms present, the prognosis often looks grim because they forecast a high likelihood of metastases, meaning that the cancer has spread. I was in California and my father was in Brazil. Thousands of miles and pandemic lockdowns separated us. Diagnosing a loved one with cancer is a doctor's worst fear. and all I could do was order lab work and scans and hope. The test results confirmed the diagnosis I was dreading: metastatic lymphoproliferative neoplasia, a kind of cancer in which individual cells grow uncontrollably instead of into a single mass. But I had reason to be hopeful. Groundbreaking advancement in immunotherapy can help manage this particular cancer, and in his case, they did. He is one of the lucky ones. His symptoms minimal because of the research that others and I have conducted. The drug combination he takes releases the brakes that stop some of his immune cells from destroying cancer cells. But his diagnosis sounded an alarm for me to educate people about the power of the body's disease-fighting capabilities. Part of that mission is explaining how everyone can harness the power of the immune system and avoid these terrible diseases. I can't be everyone's doctor, but with this book, I can show you how to strengthen your defenses so you can stay healthy, avoid disease, and live longer. Your natural defense systems are nothing short of miraculous. While you go about your day and sleep at night, millions of immune-related processes are happening inside you that preserve your health and protect you from harm. By understanding your genetic makeup and the impact of your food and lifestyle choices, you can learn a lot about your body's ability to defend itself and what you can do to prevent yourself from getting sick. By taking a proactive approach to your health, you can improve your overall health, reset your immune system, and ward off future diseases. This book contains a practical, science-driven, step-by-step guide, Part 3, to show you exactly what actions to take and what to avoid doing. Putting knowledge into action isn't always easy because it requires breaking certain bad habits, such as overeating, excess stress, too much alcohol, and an unbalanced lifestyle. It also requires developing lifelong good habits, including eating better, sleeping better, calming your mind, and taking the right supplements when necessary. But the improvements in your well-being will make the journey worth it. Good medicine stands on the shoulders of the latest science, and so does this book. When COVID-19 thrust the immune system into the international conversation, government officials, the media, and other organizations called on my expertise to help millions of people understand the science and guide them through it. This book will do the same for you, helping you see the link between your immune system and diseases that affect billions of people worldwide. In this book, you will find the keys to unlock the power of your immune system with my 7-week immunity solution protocol, a 3-week immunity diet, and the practice of cellular feeding. With those guides, you can transform your health in just a matter of weeks, optimizing your immune system and fortifying yourself against the bacteria, viruses, and diseases that come into your life every day. When your immune system operates in top shape, it reduces inflammation in your body, which, bonus, slows the aging process and can help some people lose extra weight. Sometimes it takes a deep, personal loss to remind us that life isn't a spectator sport. That kind of pain changes who we are and shapes who we become. It has transformed me into a doctor with a message, an immunologist with a plan. Take stock of the loved ones you have lost and use their memories to summon the motivation to change your future. Now, let's get started. Part 1. Your body's defenses. 1. Home team. Your immune systems. If you're not your own doctor, you are a fool. Hippocrates of Cos. the father of medicine. 5 minutes remain in the World Cup qualifier, and the score stands tied. 2 teams square off in the center field. Everything is stacked against the underdogs. The weather is cold, the field is wet, this isn't their home turf, and they have less experience. But when the whistle blows and the ball flies into play, the underdogs hold a defensive line against the other very aggressive team. The underdogs have what it takes to succeed, and because their team works well together, they win. Your body's defense systems function a lot like that team. Different components serving in different roles all work together to help you fight a cold or even beat cancer. Hundreds of offensive volleys try to breach your body's defenses every day. But most of the time, you stay healthy because your immune system prevents those invaders from making headway. Trillions of cells inside you constantly work to keep you safe. Every day, they battle legions of bacteria and viruses. If your cells are strong, supported by your genes and good habits, they will win almost every battle. If they grow weak, trespassers can break through your defensive line, begetting cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and other illnesses. Maintaining a healthy immune system is the key to living longer and healthier. It works better than any miracle cream on the market, and best of all, it's already inside you. All you have to do is make good choices that support it, and it will do the rest. Doctors know a lot about the immune system because it lies at the root of nearly everything that happens in the body. Luckily, you don't need to have an MD to understand the amazing chemical interactions happening inside you. Just as you don't need to be an electrician to use a light bulb properly. But understanding how electricity works will help you understand which switch to flip. What is the immune system? Your immune system is your personal army. Think of it as a shield between your body and all the bacteria, viruses, and disease-causing pollutants in the world. The most diverse system in your body, it consists of complex mechanisms that interact among cells, send signals, filter substances, and protect your tissues. Its purpose, though, it's simple. It fights pathogens, which are disease-causing germs, bacteria, fungi, parasites, viruses. It removes potential threats from the body, such as splinters. It protects your body from potentially harmful substances, such as toxic chemicals. It identifies and neutralizes harmful substances in your bloodstream. It fights the effects of disease-causing chemicals, toxins, and cancer-causing agents. It prevents you from getting sick. If it can't contain a threat completely, it works to limit the damage. Immunocompromised people have damaged or non-existent shields that make them highly susceptible to everything, even the common cold. People living with cancer, uncontrolled HIV, systemic lupus, or genetic immune disorders can develop infections that people without those challenges don't. The same occurs in pregnant women who naturally experience some immune deficiency during gestation. Postpartum, their immune systems return to normal. The beauty of your body's natural defense system is that as long as it's doing its job, you barely notice it exists. Sometimes, however, it can react aggressively to a perceived threat. When that happens, you can develop allergies or your immune system can attack normal cells, resulting in an autoimmune disorder. That's why it's so important to understand how the system works, what helps it work, and what doesn't. Where is the immune system? It's everywhere in your body. These components all work together to form it. Bone marrow, complement system, lymphatic system, spleen, thymus, white blood cells. You probably have heard of bone marrow and white blood cells, but let's take a closer look at each of these parts of the system. Scientists believe that all immune cells originate from precursors in bone marrow, which produces white and red blood cells. White blood cells, like soldiers, fight infection. Bone marrow also contains stem cells, which can differentiate into a wide range of cell types, either to produce new cells or replace damaged ones. The complement system consists of proteins that help trigger inflammatory responses and fight infections. The lymphatic system, a network of small tubes running throughout your body, collects a fluid called lymph from your various tissues. The lymphatic system also collects dead cells and bacteria, and then it filters the waste through little bean-shaped nodes. Infections can cause lymph nodes to swell, sometimes resulting in pain in the neck, throat, or armpits. The spleen also fights germs, but its full function keeps broadening as scientists learn more about it. Most people don't even realize that the thymus, a tiny organ, exists. Located in the upper chest, it matures your T cells, which your adenoids, appendix, gut, spleen, tonsils, and other places then store. Like your lymph nodes, the thymus help remove pathogens and dead cells from your bloodstream. An extra organ. You probably can name most of the major organs: brain, heart, kidneys, livers, lungs, pancreas, skin, spleen, stomach, thyroid. But a lot of people don't realize that an extra one exists. The thymus. Unlike most organs, it's largest when you're a child because it's producing all your T cells before you hit puberty. As you age, it shrinks, replaced by fat. By age 75, the thymus essentially has become fatty tissue. Your skin, a body-sized barrier, often serves as the first line of defense against microorganisms trying to invade your body. Healthy skin cells produce and secrete essential antimicrobial proteins. Immune cells gather in the skin's various layers because this organ plays such a vital role in protecting your body from chemicals, viruses, bacteria, and disease. How the systems work. What happens inside your body every day is incredible. In the objects you touch, the air you breathe, and the food you ingest, you encounter countless potentially harmful organisms. All of them can make you sick. But usually they don't do anything to you because your immune system, it's doing its job. Your immune system acts as your body's armed forces, your own personal Department of Defense. It has two main branches: the innate system and the adaptive system. Each functions differently in the ongoing quest to protect you. In simplified terms, you inherit your innate immune system from your parents, and your adaptive system develops throughout your life. Here's an easy way to differentiate the branches. The first relies on memory, and the latter on specificity. The innate system. The second you are born, your innate immune system springs into action. Some people call it natural immunity because you have it from birth. From your largest organ, skin, to your smelliest system, digestive tract, the innate immune system cells serve as first-line heroes in the never-ending battle against potential threats. When your body sustains damage from an injury or germs, it triggers inflammation that recruits immune cells. The cells of the innate immune system arrive first, forming the body's initial line of defense. Innate immunity provides a broad, early bulwark against microbes, organisms so small that they are invisible to the eye, and other pathogens, meaning anything that causes diseases and infections. The innate system has many different types of cells, each with a specific purpose. These first responder cells derive from stem cells in your bone marrow. White blood cells belong to this branch, as do other more specialized cells that you might not know, including macrophages, mast cells, natural killer cells, and neutrophils. Some of these cells instantly attack foreign agents in the body, while others work together with other cell groups to prepare an attack. Like a soldier, Each plays a crucial role in keeping you safe, but each plays a specific role. Macrophages patrol your skin, mucus-bearing surfaces, and even your blood looking for microbes. Macrophages derive from monocytes, but they don't circulate in the bloodstream. Instead, they operate in tissues. Macrophages absorb and digest pathogens found in their surroundings. When the immune system activates, monocytes and macrophages coordinate a quick response by notifying other immune cells of a threat. Macrophages also recycle dead cells and sweep away cell debris. Neutrophils, the most prevalent type of white blood cell, belong to the early response team. They are your immune system's alert cells. They digest harmful cells and capture bacteria to prevent it from spreading. Because the neutrophils circulate in the bloodstream, they constantly patrol the body for potential abnormalities. If you scrape your arm or bump your knee, neutrophils collect in the area within minutes. They communicate with each other, which allows them to coordinate and exchange signals with other cells. This cellular swarm calls macrophages and monocytes, which then surround the neutrophil cluster and establish a tight wound seal. Monocytes, a type of white blood cell, can mature into macrophages or dendritic cells. Phagocytes eat other cells, playing a crucial role in immune response by engulfing and destroying bacteria, viruses, and other threats. Basophils, which circulate in your blood, play an important part in allergic reactions. As soon as these cells come into contact with certain antigens, short for antibody generators, meaning anything that triggers an immune response, they produce histamine, which attracts immune cells to the site. Your body responds by sending more blood to the area, generating inflammation in the form of redness, swelling, and warmth, which helps prevent the invasion from spreading further. Mast cells, which operate in your tissues, also play a part in allergic reactions, helping the body defend itself against parasitic infections. Eosinophils, like basophils, are kind of white blood cells that help fight parasitic infections. They primarily attach to parasites too large to eat, essentially suffocating the invaders in order to kill them. Dendritic cells are difficult to distinguish from monocytes. They present antigens, essentially showing other cells what to fight. Dendritic cells also break down large molecules into smaller, readable fragments, antigens, that B and T cells and the adaptive system can recognize. Natural killer cells, NKCs, another type of white blood cell, function as the body's hunters. They recognize and latch onto aberrant bodies such as viruses, chemicals, and cancer. NKCs consist of tiny compartments, densely packed with proteins that they use to kill whatever is making you sick, in a process called apoptosis, or programmed cell death. They eliminate targeted cells while causing limited damage elsewhere. NKCs work with both the innate and the adaptive systems. They have the rapid response of innate cells, but can accumulate biological memories like adaptive cells. When a problem emerges, innate system cells respond swiftly and comprehensively, often causing inflammation. Problems with your innate immune system can cause chronic susceptibility to infection. Harmful microbes continuously evolve and change, trying to outwit your innate defenses. But your body learns from its experiences and develops ways to identify what belongs and what doesn't. The innate system can't do that on its own, though. As time goes on and situations change, your body needs upgrades, which is where the adaptive immune system comes into play. The adaptive system. This system creates and develops antibodies in response to germs the body previously has encountered. One of my virology professors cleverly calls the adaptive system an acquired taste. The adaptive immune system cells constantly memorize and learn from germs and viruses in order to protect you even more. Memory in your immune system is vital. It allows for a faster response to threats and more efficient protection against antigens previously identified by your immune cells.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?